and welcome to the WCF Tech Podcast. We have me, and then two not important people.
Two other me's.
No, you're not good enough to be another me. I'm sorry.
I don't want to be like you.
How rude! How very rude! So yeah, we have Francesco.
You know, I love you, but I don't want to be.
And I get the feeling Alessio's using the DualSense microphone
Yeah.
again. You need to not use that. It's
I
shit.
am, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it
Really?
again. It's shit.
Okay.
But to be fair, it's good. It's good reviewing though. At least we know that the DualSense microphone is dog shit.
Yeah.
Nah, it is what it is. Be right for today. So yeah, topics. I don't
E3.
know. E3? Oh. Well, I suppose we must. Yeah, E3. Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are all skipping it. In other words, E3 is pointless now.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much of a news with regards to Sony because even before COVID, they elected to bow out of E3. But it is a kind of news for Nintendo and especially Microsoft because Nintendo usually has a presence on the show floor, and Microsoft, of course, it's their big show after all, and they're playing at home, and they have their conference at the theater, which is called the Microsoft Theater. So it's you think, and also they are on the Electronic Association board, so they are on the ESA board. And actually, a couple of days before this news was reported by IGN, well, basically, the Microsoft through Phil Spencer said, "Oh no, we are actually we are working with the ESA to improve E3 to make it better and yada yada." And then a couple of days later, it turns out they won't have a presence there after all, which is weird. And I don't know. It's a first, and of course, I still reckon Microsoft will certainly do their conference. Maybe they will do something apart from E3, like some booth, public booth over there in LA. They will certainly have something for the press, I assume, some kind of event. So it's not like games aren't being announced or unveiled. That will still happen. It's just that it's not happening at E3 proper, and the DSA was actually banking on this E3 to be their comeback because they hired the ReedPop, the organizers of PAX, to do it. So there was kind of a positive vibe for this year's edition that it finally could come back. But without the three big console owners, I don't know. It looks like it may be minor compared to the three we all know around from the past.
I think it's just that they may be wary of this comeback because it's been like what 3 years, 2 years actually that they haven't done it, and I think they just realized that it's more convenient for them to do a separate event.
Yeah. It's
they just have the spotlight on their
things
stuff
when you want to.
Yeah.
And not only that,
they don't
it
have
costs
to
less.
They don't have to share a spotlight with others. I mean, if we get this day, it's ours, and it's not getting. There aren't like 100 more things announced in the next few days. There probably will because they still do that. They still do their own events in the summer.
Yeah. There's also the Summer Game Fest happening. Geoff Keighley's on E3. So,
I'm gonna say E3 is redundant. It's just redundant. There are far better shows at different times anyway. Gamescom being one of them. TGS is good for your Eastern market. E3's now just become. It was dying out beforehand, and they tried making it bigger by opening it up to people, but then it became too big to actually have people looking at things. And for the shows, well, it's just been supplanted. Probably, like you say, there's less competition by. I suppose there's still competition if you're doing it at Gamescom, because there is, and Gamescom gets a lot of announcements. TGS gets some, and then, like you say, there's the game advertisements, and then companies' own little things. And Nintendo's been doing the Nintendo Directs for that long now that, well, it's a no-brainer for them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we don't know that we don't like people, so you have to put people in there as a con for it, right?
Say again, sorry?
Oh, I mean, we don't like people, so of course you don't like E3 with people.
No, I'm gonna say I avoid people like the plague unless I'm drinking alcohol.
But seriously, at least me and Francesco, we got there at the very last year. It was E3 2019. We got to see it before it
went away.
Yeah. It's a bit sad, I think, because E3 used to be iconic. It was the biggest convention in gaming by far. So
biggest name wise, I'd agree, but the actual biggest as in floor space, the footfall and all that, Gamescom's always been better.
Oh yeah, I meant in terms of name, yes.
Yeah, I'm not sad in the slightest. I'm not even bothered that I never went to E3. The only reason I would want to go to E3 is just so I could go to LA, just for the sake of it, and I can go to LA for a holiday.
And that's what we did, because we also did that.
I'm not interested in going to. I was never interested in going to E3. I was just interested in going to LA.
It's part of the charm. You go to E3 and then the evening you go in LA. Doing parties. You like that, right, Chris?
I'm not much of a
party person. I honestly don't think Chris would like the LA parties.
And especially because if it's full of Americans, I've drunk with Americans before, and with all their little drinking games, it's like, let's play a beer pong where you can only have a drink if somebody gets this ball in your beer, and I'm thinking, just a second, you stopping me drinking? What's this madness? I've got a better game. It's called Drink the Drink. It's called Pick Up the Drink and Drink the Drink.
And then pick another and do the same.
Exactly. I think Francesco's played this game before.
Oh, I did. Lots of time.
So E3 will carry on, but yeah, it's not dead, but it's not. I imagine
it's not what it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony, or at least some of them, did something on the show floor in future years. But I don't think you're going to have the big conference, big shows. And
I think they just want to see. I think they'll probably see how this year goes, even in terms of attendance, how things are going to be.
The thing is,
how much buzz it will generate, and then they'll probably come back, like you said, in a smaller capacity.
The weird thing is, though, with them dropping out, they're near enough guaranteed that the buzz is going to be less because, well, Microsoft have got ZeniMax, so that means the Bethesda show is no longer going to be at E3, which they held for the last 3 or 4 times. Yeah, no Microsoft, no ZeniMax as a link. The only ones you've got left who did shows were Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, and Devolver. E3 is dead.
Well, Square Enix did that too, if I remember right.
Yeah, but I don't. They were on and off. They only did them certain years, didn't they?
Well, the last year, the year we went, they did one.
Yeah,
because they had Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah,
launching.
I'm gonna say think Square Enix are very hit and miss. They'll do them when they want, when they've got enough lined up. We've lost Alessio.
No.
We'll carry on. Well, no. I'm sure he'll come back. So yeah. E3's done. E3 is done, in my opinion, anyway. So next topic. Well, we wait for Alessio to reappear. I really don't care. We'll move on. We'll wait for Alessio to come back. So EA stuff. Jedi Survivor's been delayed. Apex Legends Mobile is closed, and EA's not had great earnings. Who cares? Jedi Survivor being delayed doesn't shock me. Same as anything. Games get delayed.
Well, at least it's not a long delay. It's like a little over a month, I think. So it's I was still disappointed because I was looking forward to it, but better to have a better game than to get a thing at launch, runs like shit, has bugs. Well, the first one was pretty buggy at launch. So they said the game is much bigger in every sense than the first one. So if it was a bigger game but a bigger, buggier game, then it's better that they delayed it. Actually, I think they did a good thing because there isn't much anything big coming out in late April. So they probably did something good because the game won't have much competition at that point.
Yeah. The thing is, with this, they'll have learned from the original, which is always a good thing. Aha, Alessio's back.
He's back.
Always good. So they've learned from the original, which is always beneficial. And the slight delay for Jedi Survivor, it just gives them more time. Which, you can't complain. A bit more time for Jedi Survivor.
It's not a big delay, unless they delay it again, which wouldn't be.
That's always possible.
I hope not, because I'm looking forward to the game, but you never know.
Yeah. And then Apex Legends is mobile, just the mobile is closing.
Yeah, it's closing. I think I saw some stats somewhere that very few people were playing the game. I mean, they played a lot compared to other Battle Royale mobile games, but there were too few people, and few people, no microtransactions. The game is free to play. So I suppose they cut their losses.
Yeah.
At this point.
I suppose same as anything. I've never understood Battle Royale games on mobile anyway. I've tried Fortnite mobile, didn't like it. I've tried what's the other one? PUBG. I've tried PUBG mobile. Didn't like that mobile. Maybe I just don't like mobile. I don't think mobile action games are suited for mobile, honestly.
I think most people play with controllers.
Pardon me.
That's probably. I think it's the only way. I think it's the only way to play a game like that properly. Because try playing a shooter with touch controls. I think it's a nightmare. Yeah. So I think that's what people are doing to play those. But PUBG Mobile is actually very popular. In this thing, people are playing that a lot. Well, I don't know if it's on the same level of Fortnite, but it's been pretty successful.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's a new one for anything. I've got two cats playing with each other. Okay. Yeah. We've got his dropped out again.
Yeah.
Alessio's not having a good time. Oh well. No. Successful podcast day. In fact, we can skip all the topics now. We can just talk shit.
Yeah, we just talk about whatever we want.
Yeah. I think the thing for me is, mobile's designed for two games. You've got your turn-based strategy stuff. Your what is it? Tower defense is good for them, and obviously the little idle games, all the porn games that are idle porn games, perfect for them.
Yeah. Playable with one hand.
Yes. Or in my case, you need both. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, EA. I mean, they're not having a great year, but again, it doesn't shock me. They've not released that many games.
Yeah, just the usual annual sports game. They actually have. I think this was. I mean, last year was the last year of FIFA because they don't have the license anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be EA Sports Football, isn't it, or
So
something?
yeah, actually, the very interesting thing is that we always say electronic arts, microtransactions, free games as a service stuff, but actually this year they're releasing a lot of single player stuff
Well,
without these things. It's just not that it isn't just
they
Jedi
they
Survivor.
do have the
There's
advantage
also
that they bought Codemasters, which means that they've got to have.
yeah, even Wild Arts that's releasing later this year.
Yeah,
They
with
they
Koei
they
Tecmo, yeah.
Yeah, they said outright no microtransactions and every additional stuff that's coming to the game will be free.
I find it
So
weird that I do find it a bit odd that they've gone with Koei Tecmo because usually they just publish their own games.
yeah, I don't know. They probably went with the budget, with a very good offer, and then I don't know. They actually haven't said how this came to be. I mean, who went to the other first?
Yeah,
I just think Electronic Arts was watching looked at Monster Hunter, the series success, and then we want one like that ourselves. And they went with a developer that already made a hunting game because Omega Force did the Tokiden games. They were
yeah,
pretty decent. They were essentially handheld games because they released on PlayStation Vita first, and
yeah.
then they ported them to the other formats. But they already had experience in that, and from what I've seen so far, because I previewed the game a few months ago, I think it's going to come out pretty good.
Okay, that's good.
And
That's
no
good.
microtransactions is a big thing for Electronic Arts.
Well, maybe they've learned after the Battlefront fiasco.
Yeah.
Loot boxes.
Loot boxes everywhere.
Assholes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
sometimes they learn, I suppose. Now Ubisoft has to learn about that for their open world, trademarked open world design.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's. I'm just thinking, with Alessio not being here, I'm going to skip ahead a tiny bit where I'm going to start talking about what I'm playing. And now we've just talked about open world. Hogwarts
Yeah.
Legacy. Now, yeah, I'm allowed to talk about it because this will go live within time. It's got trappings of the Ubisoft sandbox. There's a Harry Potter game, and now let's clear the room on certain aspects. In the fact that yes, I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy. Yes, J.K. Rowling's can be an absolute twat, but people made the game. I like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I can still play the game. Everybody's going to play it anyway.
Yeah, I think I understand why sometimes people don't. Sometimes it's difficult to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, I think in this
I can
situation
understand
though,
that. But
J.K. Rowling technically, yes, she created the universe, but she's not the artist in this situation.
yeah,
Yeah, she's going to make money from it. We know she is. It's
yeah, but
symbolic.
what I always think is in the case of Rowling, we know some of her ideas because she talked about them outright. But there are many people who may have some controversial stuff to say, but they keep their mouth shut. And
Yeah.
if we knew about everything that everyone thinks about, we probably wouldn't be reading any book, we wouldn't be watching any movie, or very few of them.
More than
So,
likely.
but I understand the position of some people that because it's just not in that case it's just not a controversial opinion. It's just stupidity and.
Oh no, she's an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just nothing to say. I mean, it's undefendable in this case. So I can understand. I can understand that.
Yeah. from my initial playing, though, I have to admit that I'm enjoying Hogwarts Legacy. I can't have. He's back.
He's back.
I'm enjoying Hogwarts Legacy. I can't say much different than that. Yeah, it's irritating that it's got trappings of the Ubisoft open world stuff. I mean, Raider camps in a Harry Potter game. Well, it's not Harry Potter, but you know what I mean. It's set 200 years before.
I have a question. That I don't. Did you ever play The Witcher 3?
Yes.
So how does it compare? Even in terms of story, lore, that kind of stuff. How deep does it go? If how close it is to The Witcher 3 in terms of exploring the lore?
It's very, very lore heavy. Probably not as lore heavy in the fact that a lot of the cutscenes will go into quite a bit of lore as well, and with the story, the story's decent. The issue is it's a massive game, and the code was given quite late, so I don't know how deep it goes yet. It's such a huge game. There's no way of me having. Yeah, I'll be doing a review in progress. When this goes live, there'll be a review in progress for me to finish when I finish the game. But yeah, so I don't know. The Witcher 3 is like a 10 out of 10. Hogwarts Legacy, maybe a 8.5 so far. I don't know. I don't know yet. That's the problem. It could all go tits up towards the end. But there's a lot to do, and I'm enjoying it, and the combat's fun. I do enjoy the combat. I still haven't got the major horrible, Avada Kedavra spells yet. I want I like being a dark wizard at times. I'm a light and dark.
Yeah, but I read that there's no morality system, so you can be a dark wizard, but won't have much consequence.
No, I've not seen anything to do with morality, so I'm not going to. I have no issue with that.
Yeah, it makes sense
morality system.
Yeah, the game is just too big already, probably. So trying to do things like that, it would have been too much, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. So yeah, we're moving on from EA. Have you got anything to talk about with EA, Alessio? Now you're back.
I don't know exactly what you talk about because
all of it. But just give us your opinions.
Yeah, well, I mean, the delay of Star Wars Jedi Survivor is perhaps it's minor. It's something that we can easily understand due to polish. So I wouldn't say it's a major issue. But it's interesting that EA has cancelled both Apex Legends and Battlefield Mobile. So they were clearly banking a lot on that, and to get a foothold in the mobile market.
Yeah.
And also, it was disappointing to hear that they also cancelled the single-player Titanfall game, which reportedly was inspired by Doom Eternal. So, certainly, that was something lots of fans had been asking for since Titanfall 2. Hopefully, it was just down to this particular project and not any indication that EA is once again shifting away from single-player games. Hopefully not.
It probably depends to an extent, because obviously under Codemasters they've got a lot of, but they're all racing games, obviously. And then, like Francesco was saying, Wild Hearts is coming out.
Yeah, that is that. And I don't know if you talked about the Dragon Age thing, the leak.
No.
We did.
So, well, basically, Dragon Age was actually mysteriously absent from the earnings call, because since if the game was to come out this year, you'd think that EA executives would say that, would mention it to investors, So
Yeah.
that was already kind of telling, perhaps. But there were some leaks in the last couple of days. So basically, we learned that the game will be very much like an action title. So you won't be controlling party members directly, as in previous Dragon Age games. So it's reportedly more like Mass Effect, where you can basically trigger a certain companion to do an ability, and but you cannot, take over and be that companion. To be honest, I know some fans may be conflicted by this and perhaps also disappointed, but I think the first Dragon Age, it was very much old style when it came to combat. It had tab targeting, so it wasn't really an action game because of the time. But even just Inquisition was kind of already an action game. And with action games, I don't know that it makes a lot of sense to let you switch characters, because it quickly becomes a bit redundant, I think, because you don't really have the time to control everyone when you are when you are doing an action game in real time. You tend, well, at least I did. I tended to stick with one character, maybe change once in a long while. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much of a negative, to be honest. Other than that, there is, the suggestion that maybe the game won't come out this year because there are still some placeholder lines and text, but who knows? It's not certain by any means of the world yet. So we'll have to see. And well, as you know, personally, I'm very interested in the game. So um, one thing that came out of these leaks is that apparently the animations have improved, at least the combat animations. So that's something BioWare fans had been expecting. And also, interestingly, according to the images that have leaked, but apparently the main character could be a Grey Warden again, which is interesting because, of course, it wasn't in the last game. And the Darkspawn are back apparently as a center enemy. So, well, I am intrigued, and hopefully it's not long before we hear more of it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, I haven't got much to say about that. I just think we'll see what happens. My phone's giving me an alarm saying I've got to go to the vets in an hour. Okay. Yeah, I just think I don't have any hopes for Dragon Age. I want it to be good. Of course I do. I like Dragon Age, but I know what BioWare's done lately. And yeah, well, that's a series that went a bit down the toilet, and now a series that I liked the last game, but well, it seems like Microsoft aren't happy with Halo. It's like okay,
Yeah, there have been quite a few layoffs recently, and well, the latest report is that it's a bit like they are starting from scratch in a way, and apparently also shifting the engine, which was previously rumored as well. So they are testing a real engine. I think Real Engine it's becoming more and more popular but not only because of its ease of use, but also because everyone in the industry knows it. So when you bring someone on board, well, basically everyone already knows it. Whereas if you have a custom built engine, internal engine, then everyone that's hired needs to go through the pains and learnings of a new engine, which can sometimes slow production. So I think it makes a lot of sense, especially if they are changing a lot of the workforce because of the layoffs.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, 343 Industries, like I said, I think in previous podcasts, they haven't really reached the level of quality that Halo fans and I think Microsoft itself was hoping for.
Yeah,
So
I enjoyed Reach. Not Reach. Whatever it was I reviewed. The open world one.
Yeah.
Infinite.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the other Halo games.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Microsoft wants Halo to be a tentpole. Once upon a time, it was one of the biggest IPs in gaming. It made
Once upon a time, it was the only reason people bought an Xbox.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because they'd bought the Xbox, they used to pretend Halo was like the dog's bollocks. And it's like, no, it's not. It's a decent enough game. The best early game on the Xbox 360 was BioShock.
Well, yeah, but the first Halo came out on the original Xbox.
I know, but I just remember like everybody talking about Halo 3 like it was, it was the second coming of God or whatever, and he's like, it's an average game. Oh, it's above average. It's above average, but BioShock was 10 times better.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's kind of my point. The first game, especially, and also the second on the original Xbox, they were really, really, ahead of their time when it came to shooters, especially on consoles. So there was the expectation that as the industry grew and the shooters matured, that Halo could do the same. But like you said, Bioshock did it, and many other shooters did it, Metro and many others, and Halo did not. That's the point. They could not, match these new shooters that were a lot more atmospheric and story heavy. Let's say so. That's what I think is lacking, honestly.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that people may not get much story anymore since they want to focus on multiplayer mostly. So the thing that made Halo different is kind of taking a step back. So I don't know. I think they're just mismanaging the franchise in a lot of ways, just not with mediocre games. I think it's probably the way they look at the franchise and they want it to be something that people don't want it to be. Because I know so many people that are just crazy about the Halo universe, the story. They read all the novels, they see everything, and it seems like they're going in a different direction in the future with less story content. I don't know.
Yeah.
They should look at the franchise and what it was that made it so popular in the first place, instead of trying to make futuristic another Call of Duty clone or whatever is the fad at the moment.
I know what made it popular. It was the only Xbox exclusive.
Well, other than that.
Oh dear. Yeah, we'll see. I enjoyed Infinite for what it was. It was a good game, so yeah, it doesn't bother me. Halo's never been one of those. Halo's always been one of those games where I played the games and I thought, yeah, they're all right. Why is everybody gushing over them? But yeah. It's because none of them have played Total War. That's why they're gushing over Halo. They don't know what good quality is.
Yeah, but there's actually something else, another game that you might be happy about when you learn that there is a new sequel coming for Gran Turismo. So, what do you think?
Yeah, it might release by the time I'm dead. They are a bit slow on the uptake. I see. I love the Gran Turismo series, but the latest was just the racing was fantastic. It looked great, but dear God, why did they make it so slow? Why?
So
Just
they
have
can
the
send.
regular career.
So they can sell you those
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah,
fake money.
they made it so fucking grindy so they could do microtransactions, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, Sony, you did not need to do that. Well, I don't know if it was Sony's decision. They probably just let Polyphony Digital just do what they wanted, and then what's happened is just like a massive, massive fuck up. Anyway, let's talk about what we're playing. To be fair, I've already covered quite a bit of Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy. I'm enjoying it. I've covered the elephant in the room, J.K. Rowling being a knob, but it's what it is. I like Harry Potter, and I in this situation I can separate the product from the person who birthed the universe. She didn't make the game, and I doubt she had any aspect of part of the story, the actual writing of the game. Mostly because, well, from what little I've read of her work after Harry Potter, it's pretty shit.
She went back to Harry Potter actually.
Sorry?
After she said she was done, I think that's the sequel of
well, she did the Cursed Blood Prince, or God knows she wrote the theatre, the stage thing.
That's the one I was thinking.
Yeah, so you can buy it in buy the manuscript in book form, but whatever. But it's like, yeah, her writing after Harry Potter is pretty damn shite from what little I've read of it. Probably because she was trying to move away from being a kids writer. Well, don't. Just stick to what you can do, love.
So, speaking of Warner Bros., I think they are banking on this being a huge game because
I think it will be.
Yeah, because they haven't had a masterpiece release, I think, in a long, long time. I think perhaps since the days of Batman Arkham Knight, consoles.
No, I can't. It's a good game from what I've played so far, and like I said, they gave too short of a time for reviewing it, so it's not going to get a full review when it launches in early access. 3 days earlier. Let's be honest. The game launches on the 7th.
Yeah.
And then
for the deluxe edition.
Then if you didn't pay them extra, it launches on the 10th.
Yeah.
So you don't actually get 3 days early access to it. What in reality, if you don't pay extra money, you just get delayed by 3 days. That's the way I see it. And we've all
to be fair, they're not the only ones. It's not just
No, I don't. No, it's certainly not. They're not the only ones who do this. EA's done it many a time. Yeah. I think did Square Enix do it once or twice? I don't know. Tons of companies have done it. I just think it's a bullshit thing. But anyway, so
it's true.
What are you?
It's just 3 days, so who cares?
Yeah. What are you playing?
So 2 things. One I'll go over quickly because we talked about that the last time. That I completed Hi-Fi Rush, and I think it's a very, very, very good game. And I hope they make a series out of it because it's very, very, very good. And we read about it, and it's a fun game, and it doesn't attempt to do anything else other than being fun. And the great thing is they shadow dropped a game of this quality, really, because it's really impressive. I understand why they were so confident with it, because it's a really really good one, and I hope they'll make more, because they're definitely on the right path.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Would you say it's like compared to David May Cry? How would you rate?
Well, yeah, it's not that. It's a different. They're similar on so many levels, but they try to do things in a completely different way. I think it's closer to Platinum Games stuff, because the Devil May Cry series is more about it gives you the tools to do all sorts of crazy shit. Instead, Hi-Fi Rush wants you to play in a certain way properly. The difference is that it's Platinum Games does the same, but with Bayonetta games, the more they went on, the more they moved away from just being action and that's that. They start doing all those mini games, all that kind of stuff becomes a little dispersive. I'd say it's better than the last two Bayonetta, but it's not on Devil May Cry 5 level.
Okay. I mean,
that makes sense. It's a new series, a new developer. They never did something like that.
It's a good start.
It's a very good start, and I hope they go. I hope they. I think they will, since the game's been doing so well. But I hope they will. They will continue, because it really deserves to be. It's even when you think about Xbox, it's not the type of game you think about, and it's a good thing for them. It just it makes them more. It's more appealing to a different audience than their usual one, and yeah, it's very good. Really, it's. Then the other game I played, and I need to get the review done. I think I still have to do that. It's Deliver Us Mars. It's the sequel to Deliver Us the Moon.
Yeah.
It's a pretty. I'd say it's a pretty safe game, in the sense that it improves pretty much everything over its predecessor. And the one thing I can say is a little janky. The puzzles, for example, are very simple. They introduced a climbing mechanic that it kind of works, but sometimes the story is very good. It's very, very good. The thing is that sometimes you feel like the gameplay is a distraction from the story, because it's pretty straightforward. It's very linear. There are some optional collectibles along the way, but it's not like you really can go off and do your thing. It's a solid game. It's like I said, the story is very good, so that's a very good reason to play the game. And there are a lot of bugs. They haven't patched them yet, at least on PC. So if you want to play it on PC, I'd rather wait, because there was one sequence where I jumped and I got stuck in midair, and I had to quit the game and start over from the last checkpoint. And there are some physics issues. It's just visual in this case, but there are issues. I think the game needed a little bit more of time, because you can tell there's junkiness. Like you're close to a door or a ladder, and if you press the button, the character slides closer to the door or the ladder. It's janky. It's an indie game, so you don't expect Naughty Dog quality, but when you do an immersive narrative game, I think you need to pay attention to those things. But other than this, it's a solid game, and it's a little short. It's like 10 hours or so. But those 10 hours pass by quickly, because the story is very good. It's actually pretty much. Yeah.
And I mean, it's. I was actually worried that they would delay it, because the review calls only came after launch, actually.
Yeah.
So that
it
was
should. Yeah, I think now I understand why they delayed it after launch, because the bugs are. I just got one game-breaking thing in 10 hours, but I've read on forums that other people had crashes, and it needed a little bit more time to iron out these technical issues.
So basically, your average PC launch nowadays, because that's the reality of it, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And there's one more thing that I don't really care about that, but because I played with ray tracing off, but ray tracing was better in its predecessor. I don't know if it's bugged. Yeah, I don't know if it's bugged because reflections look horrible, really. The game looks better without ray tracing at times.
Of course it does. Nobody needs tray racing.
I knew it's gonna the tray racing is useless.
It is. It's useless.
Well,
It doesn't make games look any different.
Yeah, well, it depends, but I think almost everyone doesn't have the hardware for that. Because if I had to pick between ray tracing and performance, I always pick performance. Like pretty much everyone. Even if it's a narrative game that there's no action, it's better to go with performance. And I don't many people have the hardware to do both right now.
Yeah, well, the DLSS 3 helps a lot.
Yeah. But that's also that not too many people can use that right now. Because Frame Generation is going to be stuck on the 4000 series.
Yeah. Well, as for me, I didn't play any new games. I did go back to playing an old game with my group of friends and guildies, but I doubt you want to hear about Fallout 76 again. So we can basically end it here if you want, Chris. And you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Uh,
Sorry, cats are walking around my legs.
Okay, I just feared the connection went off again.
Did it?
But
go on. Anyway, what are you playing? Oh, has he disappeared?
Oh. I think. Well, he said he played Fallout 76, but we can also not talk about that. Yeah,
I'd rather not. I'd rather not. It's Fallout. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. You don't want to hear about it.
My brain must have just known that he was going to say something bad, and then just oh no.
Your brain signed off at the mention of Fallout 76.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I think he's having connection issues, so we may be better off just calling it today.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll do Alessio's part for him. He's been playing Fallout 76. It's better than it was, but it's still not Fallout.
Wow. So what a shock.
Yes, I was also shocked. But yeah, so yeah, I think we'll call it for today.
Yeah.
Technical issues abound. Yeah. We'll see you all next time, and hopefully with no technical glitches.
Yeah.
Right. See you in a bit.
Bye.